Good afternoon and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 216 and I'm continuing the story of the water lily and the prince. Now, you might remember that through the birds, the prince had sent word to the wizard of Finland asking him for help in order to free his beloved from the enchantment of the witch. And he had sent this message via a couple of fast-flying swallows. Now, it wasn't long before the message was returned via a huge and powerful eagle. The message that the prince got was instructions on how to free his beloved. But just in thinking about doing what was asked of him, he paused. For it seemed not only dangerous, but outlandish. And he wondered if in following this advice, if he would ever again experience his own physical body. Because he was asked to turn himself into a crab. So for a couple of days, he sat and wondered until one day, a couple of pigeons that were perched outside began talking about him, saying how foolish he was that he had not immediately followed the advice of the wizard of Finland. When he heard this, he thought to himself, indeed, he was being a bit of a coward. And so he rose up, went out to the royal stable, saddled a horse, and made off as quickly as he could toward the bridge, where the yellow water lily bobbed up and down in the rapids of the river. When he arrived, he let his horse free to graze, expecting to return hopefully soon with his beloved in hand. Taking off all the clothes that would have bogged him down in the river, he leapt in. And he followed the instructions that the wizard had given him. He asked that man be crab, and in a moment he was. He made his way to the water lily, and with his claws, he cut the water lily loose from its roots, and then began to carry, with a bit of the roots clasped very carefully in his claws, he began to make his way along the edge of the river upstream. Now it was difficult going, for the current wanted to pull the lily back downstream, and it was all he could do to keep his footing on the soft, silty bottom near the edge. Occasionally he would be able to grab onto some roots or a rock, but most of the time he just felt that he was being pulled by the current so much that each little bit of gain forward was a struggle. Well, now, eventually, he came to where there was a huge rock in the river, which the eagle had communicated to him. And outside of that rock, there was a magnificent tree standing tall. Well, this was where he was to climb out onto the rock, pulling the water lily out with him, and ask again that they become human. He stopped in the eddy of that rock where there was no current, the lily floating above him, and he paused there just to regain some strength. He thought, I will just rest a minute, and then I will climb out, and all will be well. As he began to doze off after these strenuous time pulling the lily upstream, he began to feel his claws loosen their grip around the roots of the lily. And we'll leave the story there for now.